Brett Crowther with Charles Schwab. And have you ever looked for an indicator that includes price, volume, and volatility all in one indicator? Well, here's one that does. It's the Klinger Oscillator. You may not be familiar with it, but it's interesting. It's very complex. In fact, let me give you a brief overview. What it's looking at is the daily high, low, and close to get the price action in there. It's looking at the volume, whether it's an up day or a down day, and gives a multiple of 2 to that. But it's also looking at the range of the day. Was it a big day or a smaller day, and giving more weight to that? So it's actually taking that high, low, close and dividing it by the range of the day. It's also now taking those points and creating a moving average out of that, and using 34 and a 55 exponential moving average, which are fib numbers, and that's actually giving us the difference of those gives us one line, which is the yellow here, and then it's taking a 13-period moving average from that to create the other one. Now that's too much to really, digest in one moment. But I'm going to put a link to another class that we teach that goes into much more detail on the construction of it. But so it's a complex indicator. That doesn't mean it's better, it just means it's complex, but it does take into consideration all those things. So now one way this might be employed is to possibly use it to see if it can identify some close to bottom scenarios, right, where the stock is down and ready to possibly move back up. Well, let's take a look at this. In order to do that, we look at a zero line here, and we look at the times when the yellow line, the Klinger Oscillator, crosses above that blue moving average. So let's see, like right here is one time where it did right there. And, no indicator is perfect. I should, state that up front, right? There are concerns everywhere, right? I mean, anything. Here's another spot, though, where it did catch that spot right there, where we had a cross up above the blue line. And then, again, right here, it had a cross. And so, now you can see this downtrend, right? I mean, it's a little bit of a challenge there for some traders who are looking to trend trade, and so that needs to be taken into consideration. But this is an indicator that could potentially be used for something like that. Again, everyone has their own ways of looking at things, need to employ their own strategies. But, just looking at this is just one way it can be employed. I mean, some will also look at it as a crossover on the upside. Like when it's back above, that could be a potential target area, maybe some old resistance, and some will even look for it as entry points up there. But I'm just trying to identify one way this could be used, looking at just when it's below the zero line and we're getting this cross, from the below the blue to above the blue line. And so there's a couple examples of that. Now, again, linking the class in here where Cameron May will go into much more detail on that. So take advantage of that, check that out, and hopefully you'll learn a lot more about this interesting indicator. All right, thanks.